The Bible says, you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. Jesus said, I am the way, I am the truth, I am the life. The truth is not something. The truth is someone. That someone is Jesus Christ. And when you know him, you have the truth, and you walk in the truth, and you joy in the truth, and you rejoice with truth that is unspeakable and unshakable, because Christ is the solid rock.
Well, there we go. Isn't that the face and banshee screaming of sanity? Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to my channel of The Last Hours. Thank you very much for joining me. The day is the 29th of July 2024. There has been, unfortunately, quite a few things, namely Hezbollah's war crimes against 12 children, including members of the public and also military personnel up in the Golan Heights. Our prayers and thoughts definitely go with those poor people. Now, today what we're looking at is basically a video on the aspects of the left-wing great unwashed, the morons that need to actually realise that they are nothing more than useful idiots, as Lenin, or as ascribed to Lenin, was once stated. We have now got further information regarding that a lot of these anti-Semitic, anti-Jewish, anti-Zionist, anti-whatever, anti-West, you name it, all of these kinds of protests that are going on around the world are actually funded by Hamas and Tehran. It is quite shocking, really, on how these morons, these absolute great unwashed morons, are so quick to believe the absolute lies, and some of them, as we know, are completely funded. Now, normally protests will fizzle out in time. They normally do. Animal rights protests, environmental protests, and normally they do not have such a wealth of social media behind them. They do not have such a wealth of the biased media that you find in countries, and they don't normally have the great levels of turnouts that we are seeing today against Israel and Israel's right to protect itself against the filthy jihadi scum that are trying to wipe them out. A lot of these protests are now showing themselves for exactly what they are, and that is nothing more than complete and utter anti-Jewish rhetoric and belief. As stated, we do know that there are a lot of people that are actually supporting and funding these protests. I'm choosing to put the great Israeli flag up on this video instead of showing myself because I know it's going to annoy the great unwashed left. The left that's supposed to be a progressive movement that have now become so fascistic in their views and their actions that they're actually very much the opposite of what they should be. So let's take a look at this one individual here. She is a stupid bitch, let's be honest, a filthy individual, and let's see what she says.
I think those people should resist in every violent way that you can possibly think of. I think October 7th should have been more violent. I think there should have been more hostages.
There we go. So as we can see here, you've got an absolute filthy little bitch who lives in the security of the West, believing that more hostages should have been taken, more rape should have been done, and more children should have been murdered, and old people, and so on and so forth. Now, she's an absolute filthy individual, sprouting out her disgusting, demonic filth onto social media. Now, we know for a fact that if she was actually living in Gaza or Judea and Samaria, she would be wearing a hijab, she would be beaten left, right and centre, and would not have a view, because you're not allowed to have one as a Muslima. Certainly not in the Muslim Brotherhood countries like that. Let's take a look at this video at somebody who decides to go at some beautiful kind of painting. Well, there we go. Again, as you can see, there's been a lot of graffiti, a lot of damage being committed around the world against things of national treasure. It is quite disgusting, and it absolutely serves no purpose. Let's take a look at this next video. As you can see, the progressive left, I say progressive, but actually we know that the recessive, great unwashed left, are now becoming increasingly more violent and have been for quite some time. Here we have a mob mentality, as usual, where people normally end up getting hurt. And the only people that normally get hurt are normally Jewish people or people trying to support Israel. Let's take a look at this.
Don't do that to me. Don't.
Now, as we can see, the useful idiots are very useful. They're absolutely moronic. The vast majority of them wouldn't be able to place where Gaza is. They're absolute morons. It's quite sad, really. Let's take a look at another video.
Hey, Chucky. Wow. Kom, serieus, kom. Gaat het lukken? Ja. Kom, oh je ja, die kant op! Heb je hoes? Kom erop! Die kant op! Die kant op!
Now in this video, you can see there's an absolute piece of scum with his Yasser Arafat rag around his head, and there he is, armed himself with a stick, right in front of security officers. Now we'll see this same filthy individual on another video very, very soon. But as you can see that they're all completely covered. The one in red with the red trainers and his Yasser Arafat headscarf, basically he's whiter than me practically. So you get a lot of these morons who most definitely are useful idiots. The one thing that is really quite sad and pathetic though, as you can see, is that towards the end of the video, the security try to push away the people that are peaceful. The people that are most probably there for Israel, not the filth that are violent, not the filthy, great unwashed left morons.
Let them go! 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 Shame on you!
Now, unpacking this video, it is rather quite funny because you've got these filthy individuals all protesting, and you normally have like a riot police line in front of some kind of protest. Well, the police are having to deal with a lot of violence from the great unwashed left, so they are very much justified in doing what they're trying to do. Now, as you can see here, the same agitator from the first video is now once again trying to be very intimidating and very, very aggressive towards the police officers. He then gets pulled back. We see another coward working on mob mentality, basically trying to kick out at the officer until a couple of the other officer next to him then starts to hit him with his riot stick. Now, the funny thing that gets me is then you get the stupid moron who's right on the sort of left of the frame, basically saying, "Shame on you, shame on you." And it's quite funny, really, because a lot of people will have very clouded judgments on these kinds of things, and as you can see, shame on you for trying to stop somebody from being violent. Basically, that's what it is. It's ridiculous.
You guys are shouting for intifada? You know what an intifada is? What is it? What is an intifada? You guys are proud of shouting for intifada? Yeah?
So, once again, the mob mentality rules here. They have absolutely no idea what Antifada means. They have absolutely no idea what river and, well, they have no idea which river and which sea that they want to destroy a whole country with. But the very sad thing is that a lot of these morons are using a mob mentality attitude. They'll act out far worse than if they were on their own. As you can see, those 3 individuals were completely covered up. They're absolute cowards. They are not in any way, shape or form possessing the courage of their conviction. If they were, they wouldn't be hiding their faces. They'd be very proud of what they're doing. But what they're doing, they know, is actually quite wrong, and it is in complete and utter anti-Semitism and what else have you. We've unfortunately seen that for far too long in America, which has been perpetuated by the American administration, and we can only hope that the individuals actually learn the errors of their ways. Now, this next video is really rather terrible because you've got a elderly person and a Jewish elderly person there who are in a library, and then they get descended upon by a group of young terrorists. That's all you can call them, really, who then decide to basically attack them. It's not very nice, and yeah, you just have to, you know, people have to see this kind of stuff.
Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Shut up! I'm in Gaza! Yeah, fuck you! Get the fuck out! Shut the fuck. We're fucking children in Gaza! Don't give a fuck about your age! Get the fuck out!
Whose phone was this?
What's up? I don't know. That's a dope computer, right?
This is someone's phone. I'm just gonna check it against the wall.
Oh, yeah. I'm just making sure it doesn't get shot.
Basically, actually, once you start acting upon your beliefs in an extreme way, then you are a terrorist. There are a lot of homegrown terrorists within the world now than there ever was. It is quite a shock. The great unwashed left rabble can actually say that they're trying to do this and they're trying to do that, and they're actually failing miserably in sort of trying to win any hearts or whatever. But as we can see from this video, they are just basically attacking things, attacking people. Once you start doing that based upon a religious or political ideology, you are then no longer a protester. You are a terrorist. So people that act like this, from all these videos, as you can see, they could be classified as a terrorist, and I sincerely hope that the countries in which where these scumbags are actually keeping a damn good eye on them, because they are terrorists. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching this video. I thought, as I said earlier, I thought I would just have a bit of a laugh with lots of Israeli flags just to annoy the great unwashed. I can't care less about them. The unfortunate thing is that they have the loudest voice at the moment, and the quiet people, who are the people for Israel, are unfortunately being overshadowed by these morons. But let's hope that changes one day, and very, very soon. Thank you very much for joining me. Have a very good day.